Yo, what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday night. Hope everybody had a long fucking weekend and enjoyed it. I definitely did. It's good to catch up on some sleep, spend some time with the family, drink some beers with the boys. You guys know how it goes. Without a further ado, I'm gonna dive right into this because this week is going to be very important going forward. Um, as of right now, personally, what I think really slipped past everybody this week was Friday's session. Now, Friday's session had almost like a topping pattern on a daily chart. I'll tell you why. The volume was relatively heavy for a half day. If you look down here, the selling into the close was pretty heavy. We rejected the mid Bollinger Band. Now it looks like we have room back down to test this 13 EMA on the daily. We'll see if momentum comes in. Obviously, as of right now, we're trading right by where the all time high is at 315.48. We're trading at 315.46. So, um, at this moment in time, it looks like we're going to be opening higher. Obviously, there's still a lot of time left to decide that, but if we do gap higher, we have the chance to continue to break up. But at that point, we're going to be opening and piercing through this top Bollinger Band, which typically signals to me an overextension. It signals to a lot of other people as well. So the buying tends to get weak on the upside up there. So we have our main support level right now on the downside is this 309.40 area. A few things I want you guys to focus on is the volume on the OBV. Has kind of topped out here, kind of have a double top. Our MACD's flat. Our trend is slowly running out of steam. It looks our RSI is very oversold up here. Um, we're pulling back off where we were at around 76. So it's gonna be one of those things where unless volatility steps into this market and we get some sort of catalyst, this market will just continue to bounce off the technicals. And as of now, we've been trending since early October, and following that 13 EMA in the top Bollinger Band like a piece of cake. So we'll see if that remains true. Um, if we do gap up tomorrow, there are a few setups I'm looking at. Obviously, well, two of them are going to be continued from last week, which are breaking out on the daily chart. So there's two ways this market's going to go. Either we're going to pull back, break Friday's low and head back to this 13 EMA, or we're going to gap higher and see if the momentum continues to mount on the upside. If that's the case, we do have some great long setups. I wouldn't necessarily play the SPY. I'd rather play the SPY on the short side. But on the long side, for those of you guys who were in the chat, I know we got a few new guys in this week. For those of you who weren't trading with us last week, we had Facebook on watch. I was actually in Facebook on this breakout. I exited Thursday for about $5 per share profit. We were breaking out of this pennant, continuing sort of the same trend situation where we're bouncing around that 13 EMA. We do have this nice trend line rolling up here. We did break out of the pennant, so there is room to around this area up here at around the 205 and then near the 208 area. So there is still room on Facebook. I much rather buy these breakout setups on a pullback where it confirms off the 13 EMA. I feel like if I'm buying up at these highs, it's almost like I'm chasing the stock, which, at the point where we are at, I don't necessarily feel like that puts me and myself and my portfolio in the best risk reward situation. So I'm going to be a little bit patient and hesitant on the long side. I'd rather look for some sort of consistency and confirmation that that trend is still, intact. I don't want to try and time, tops and bottoms, but I prefer to wait for confirmation. Like I said, we captured this pretty big move when it happened, from the 195 up to around the 201 area, 202. So that was a great setup, and we're going to continue to look at Facebook. The accumulation has been fairly strong on this setup, and like I said, we're trending on the daily chart, so there's really not much else to say on that. And we'll see if we could get back up to this 208 area. The next one, which was absolutely a fucking amazing setup last week. This thing was fantastic. Played to the technicals perfect. We had a great bull flag. I added here and ultimately, had the average down, and average majority of my position was down at the bottom of this trend line here. I would have sold when this trend line broke if the daily candle closed and then opened below it. And that wasn't the case. We got some serious momentum to the upside here, right off that bull flag trend line, and the momentum, the follow through was incredible. We now have our MACD trying to cross to the upside. We had some pretty nice volume come in. The accumulation stayed relatively up there. This was a great setup. I'm going to be monitoring this for a pullback as well. We got a weak kind of indecision candle here on the daily chart. We'll see if this pulls back. Um, like I said, based off the charts on our two main watches, Facebook and Bed Bath and Beyond, I almost feel like where we're at, if we wanted to play the long side, it almost feels like chasing these setups. I'm gonna bring up the mega cap setups here, and I'm gonna give you guys a feel for the overall market. And I'm gonna tell you why I believe this is almost somewhat into a topping formation. I do obviously think there's a lot more room left on the upside, but if you look at a lot of these mega cap companies, a lot of them have already broken out. So Apple's just been on an uptrend. You see Amazon here is just breaking out of this pennant. Obviously has a lot more room to the upside. Baba, nice breakout of the channel. We had Bank of America. The banks broke out back near the interest rates. The Fed decision. A lot of these strong stocks are breaking out or have been on a massive upside run recently. You almost have to sit here and ask yourself, how much more if I was to get into this position, does it have to run versus if things turn around and we get volatility to the downside, where is the destination for this? Are you willing to risk $10 a share to lose 40? Not necessarily. Facebook, another one breaking out. A lot of these stocks are looking to either break out or they're pulling into support. So it's kind of at that level. Intel, same sort of deal. Johnson and Johnson breaking out. Um, a lot of these companies, MasterCard and Visa, both similar patterns breaking out. These are just a few things you guys got to ask yourself before you get into the week. Microsoft as well. A lot of these mega caps are in this pattern now where we're at a point where we have to sit here and ask ourselves, is it worth it? Now, when that's the case, we always like to diversify and keep a short setup in mind. Like I said, I'd rather short the SPY. So if tomorrow at some point we did take out Friday's lows, I'd look to go short and obviously play the short side. That's if we have a pullback, and if that's the case and the market-wide pullback occurs, I have a great setup in gold here on GDX. Great. We had the similar pattern here on Comcast where we had this great base, that triangle pattern, and we're looking to see if this breaks out to the upside. If it does break out of this wedge, it has room upwards to the 28, 29 area. You can see the OBV down here on the bottom has been fairly strong. We've had pretty consistent accumulation in this. This is one of those things where we're trying to get past the 13 EMA and really build some momentum. It's been kind of choppy if you look at the MACD. So it's one of those things where if the market decides to pull back, the strength will definitely flip into gold, and we have that set up on the long side in this position. So we could be short on the SPY and long on gold. So, our watch list is more focused on the overall market this week and, trying to really get a feel for where this is headed. I always want to have a game plan for both sides of the trade. If I still believe there's room on the upside, and if you guys want to chase that, by all means. I don't necessarily think that's the play for me. After Friday's session, if you look on the hourly chart on the SPY, let me pull up the real quick. We'll take off the after hours. If we look here, we had some strong volume. It's just one of those things where we have to wait and see. We have to be a little patient and see what comes with this. Obviously, like I said, if we continue to gap up, which it looks like we're doing, we're going to be gapping up right near the all-time high based on where we're trading right now. Like I said, there's a lot of time left in the morning, but we have to be patient and be ready for either side of the trade. So you obviously know we have the long setups on Bed Bath & Beyond Facebook. We have a short setup on SPY if it comes. Long setup on GDX, which is the gold ETF. There's plenty of routes we could go this week. So I'll talk to you guys in chat. If you have any questions or you have any setups that really stand out to you, you guys know how it is. Just throw them in chat, and we'll go from there.